It wasn't so she like supposed to.
Oh, I know her some of the teacher.
Yeah, I heard the baby have whatever he Google. I don't believe that. I think that's extreme. I don't know why you would drop out like the last couple months of your senior year. I know she's like, it was like even when people drop out. Junior drop out junior year. I'm like, why? I know seniors who dropped out, came back for like 2 class periods. Like they like came back for 2 class periods and then dropped out again. Like they ditched school and
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to finish our 7-1 note today, and then we have an assignment that we're going to work on for the rest of class. Okay, so we left off with where the baby goes kind of cross-eyed, if the eyes aren't developed, they can go cross-eyed, their eyes can wander. What are some other things that we talked about yesterday? You can look back in your notes if you need. Their eyes develop after a while. What? Then?
how they can only see 3 feet in front of them.
Yeah, they can see 3 feet in front of them, which we got down and stood in front of the table. What else did we talk about? Yeah, muscle development, how over time their muscles get stronger, the more active that they are.
How babies lose weight.
Yeah, they lose weight the first like 5 days after they're born. Do they gain that back?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
No,
Okay, so are we ready to continue on? So I wanted to show that little video of that baby. How old do you think that baby is, based on what we've talked about?
Okay.
Pretty good guess. Oh, there it goes. You see it?
Wait, do they just like go in and out of it?
Their eyes haven't fully developed. So yeah, so they're not strong enough, and then so they'll go in and then go out, and
So it's not like all the time.
no, it's not all the time. All right, so as we move on, the hearing for our babies develops before birth. At birth, they can determine the general direction of where the sounds are coming from. By about a month, or I'm sorry, about 7 months, they can recognize who's taking care of them all the time and can recognize their voice right away. They hear tone rather than words. So like when I say tone, when it's happy, when it's positive, when whoever's talking to them, it's like the video that we watched with the baby. Oh, he's smiling. come on, stop crying. The tone of voice, they can tell the difference between that. The language develops, and they can imitate those sounds, and then that helps them to understand what's going on. And then premature babies that have ear infections quite often and frequently usually develop hearing problems during their infancy. And this delays their ability to understand language because they can't hear very well. So going back to the first one, the developing before birth, when they're still in the womb, they hear sounds and their heart rate changes. So one example that I can give you is a pregnant mom was at a concert. It was loud and lots of noises and, the beats were strong. And after she left the concert, after, 2 to 3 hours, her baby was still, active and kicking and could still was in that stimulation, that environment that they could hear the sounds. So it's kind of funny. So obviously, soothing sounds, calm them, being gentle with them. I thought this was a funny picture. So when we get to touch, the newborns can explore through touch right away because they don't have the capability to do much since they can't move around a whole lot. Other things that when they are able to touch, this builds trust around them. They get used to their environment. When they use touch to explore, they don't have a ton of skills that do that, so they're constantly building those up. So they like to feel like soft blankies and dad scratching chin, his beard, things that are familiar with them. So this book has all sorts of different surfaces on it that they can feel around with. You can see their exploration in the book.
Let me never go in the book. In the book? When you sit down, show me the book.
Oh wait, no, sorry. We get all these. All right, so their smells don't develop until after birth. And each newborn responds differently to the different things that they smell.
We could ask for 8 the following year.
So they respond to different scents, whether it's mom, dad, usually pretty quick to develop and come alive. They can show pretty quickly, even after 2 weeks of age, the difference between sweet taste. And you see babies put a lot of things into their mouth, so they're constantly putting things into their mouth. And why do you think they do that? Yeah, to learn to see what it is. Even though we're always like, no, don't put that in your mouth. Don't eat that crayon. They just want to see what's going on with it. They want to know what it is. Which sends into why the toys that they play with should be really big, so that it is not a potential, what would it be? Choking hazard. Perfect. So they say that toys or any type of object should be bigger than a paper towel tube, so it can't go in there. It should be larger than the hole. And then their cry is very, very loud. It's like a shriek, a shrill. But these loud noises help their lungs to develop. Good. Okay. All right, so our their voice changes because their muscles develop, their tongue, their lips, their teeth, their vocal cords. They all strengthen. They start saying, babbling. I guess I shouldn't really say saying. They start babbling and trying to talk different words. Usually when they're 3 months old. And then at 1, they can really start to imitate speech and things that are said around them. They can understand and can kind of try to say themselves. So they begin babbling words. They can imitate, and then they can control their reflexes. That's about the only control they have when they're born. Which, does anyone know when we talk about reflexes? Like there's 2 different types of skills that they have. One big and one small. Like when they grasp for something with their fingers, you guys know what that's called? Versus walking around. Gross versus fine motor skill. Have you heard that before? Your fine motor skill or your gross motor skill? I see a bunch of faces staring at me. No, yes or no. It's okay to say no.
No.
No, okay, thanks. All right, so here we go. Their gross motor skills are their large movements, the running, the jumping, the going down slides, the things that they use their really large muscles for. And their fine motor skills, when you think of fine, you think of like delicate and little details. That's when they use their fingers. Pick up small objects, color paper using a crayon or a pencil, using scissors, writing. And then when they are at age 1, this is when their gross motor skills really, really come to play because they're active. They're learning about the world. They're finding out what they can do and what they're capable of. Their fine motor skills come a little bit later.
Right, exactly.
So our gross motor skills are large motor skills. Our fine motor skills involve the small body, such as fingers. Okay. And then these are the different types of reflexes that they go through. So they begin having a sucking reflex stimulated by the mouth. Rooting, which is when their cheek is stroked, which you stroke their cheek, touch their cheek, and they kind of smile and move their head. That's what that one is. They shut their eyes when they see something really, really bright. Whenever you place your finger in the baby's hand, you notice that they usually squeeze it right away. That's just their reflex. I used to think, oh, he likes me. No, it's just, that's what they do. And then they think that when their feet touch the floor, that they should start walking. Oh, I have a typo. Should be stepping motion when feet, not feet, touch the floor. All right, so then we have our hand-eye coordination, which is the ability to move the hands and fingers precisely at the same time. This is when they're able to eat, catch, color, tie shoes, mainly catch. This helps their vision and motor skills. Around about 3 to 4 months, they begin to reach for different things. And this is when they really start to bring them to their mouth. And then by the end of the first year, babies can pick up all sorts of different objects, and then they can put them into another place. So they can move their toys to a toy bin. They can pick up a piece of paper and throw it in the garbage. They know what they can do. Any questions on that before we move on? Are we good with the physical development for the first year?
I think there's vision.
Okay. Which one is vision?
I missed the last 2 bullet points.
So patterns and colors.
Yeah.
Patterns and colors are important, and babies prefer patterns with high contrast. And red and blue. I don't know. And then some babies appear to have cross eyes. Or eyes that wander. But they strengthen, but this typically improves because their eye muscles strengthen.
The ruler is.
Okay, so our, oh yes. Language development begins by hearing spoken words and imitating.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next thing that I think that would be fun to do is I want us to think back, okay, so now that we've learned, a lot of different information on these 1-year-olds, I want you to partner up. What you're going to do essentially is pick a partner. You're going to pick a piece of paper that I have up here at random, and whatever paper it says, so it's between 1 month and 12 months. So each piece of paper is 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and so forth. With your partner, you're going to develop either a brochure or a newsletter, or if there's something else that you want to do, that you're going to give to somebody, a parent, a caregiver that has no idea what is safe and what is not safe for that specific age. So in my slide here, I have that there's all sorts of different concerns with safety for a 1-month-old, a 2-month-old, and so forth. So you're going to be responsible for finding out what a safety concern exists due to the infant's fine motor skills at their particular age. So you'll develop a brochure to teach parents and caregivers about a potentially safety issue that they might not know about. So I'm a brand new parent. I have no idea what my 4-month-old should avoid. you're gonna tell me, okay, at 4 months, you should make sure that their bottle is in the proper position when feeding them. Don't just prop it up on a counter or, put it on a pillow and so forth. Does that make sense? So are you with me so far? Okay. They should be colorful. You're gonna have, today, we're gonna go to the computer lab and you're gonna do some research. What are some risks that are involved with a 6-month-old? So you and your partner will figure out, okay, we can do this, we can do that, we can do this, and so forth. And then on Thursday, we'll be back in the classroom and you'll create your brochure or newsletter or whatever you would like to do. So you'll be given like white paper, colored pencils, markers, whatever you'd like to use. And you'll have a work day to do that. Some examples. So car seat safety, what should you be aware of when we are putting our baby in the car seat? Falling or rolling off a table, okay? At a 3-month-old, what should I know? Are they able to roll over themselves? Do they need to be strapped in? Should I put them on the table just for a minute and walk away? What should I know about that? When you're giving them a bath, what their water temperature should be. If you're carrying a mug of coffee with your baby, things like that. Small objects, meaning like don't have Legos around your 9-month-old, because what are they going to do with their Legos? Put it in their mouth. So that's a safety thing that you can talk about. And then I said the feeding, the bottle position. So, Anna, question? Can you what? Yeah. So, take like the next minute to figure out who you want your partner to be. And then one of you can come up and pick a piece of paper and see what age you're going to get. So we're going to go to the computer lab and you're going to research. Yeah, we're going to the lab today. You'll research what is something that we need to be cautious of. So essentially you're handing this to somebody that has no idea how to take care of it. So take all of your stuff with you. Yeah. You'll have Thursday to work. It'll be due Friday. We're going to 133. Did everyone grab a piece of paper?
That's so good.
Man, at 11 and then do you have a partner? I got 11 and then it got 10.
Just taking a video.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know we were doing this thing.